Okay. How many of you saw that 60-minute show that, like, I don't know, they just finally busted out super ego like there was no tomorrow, and like they stole their money and they're mad and some things are gonna happen. And I'm just saying, some of us have never endorsed super ego in any way, shape, or form because all we ever hear is bad. Others have had their opinions and said, "Oh, it's a great place, whatever." Just saying, proof's in the pudding. We'll be right back. As soon as I figure out what button to push.
Paying too much for trucking insurance? What if you could save more by making one simple phone call and keep more profit? You could very well do just that with one simple call to Seabright Agency, 800-366-6466. Call now.
Now here's a question that all owner-operators and small fleet owners should consider. What happens when you access the unrivaled advantages that are available through the ES Advantage program? We asked Jeff and Charley from Contractor's Corner to share their thoughts on how they've been able to utilize the discounts and services that are a part of the ES Advantage.
Your business will make you money if you do well at that business. And ES Advantage in trucking, they do really well at providing those services. So the effect that ES has had on our personal trucking operations, not even talking about what we do on the consulting arena, I've been able to save thousands of dollars a year in fuel because of the relationship with them. I have a new accountant that I work with, trucker CFO, that I learned about from ES Advantage.
They're giving you that 10,000 yard kind of support from behind that creates a way for you to succeed, which is one of the things that we love, because anything you can do to help someone succeed is going to help them succeed. They make money by making sure you make money.
Now, if you're an owner-operator or small fleet owner and you would like to learn more about how you can drive savings to the bottom line of your business, the ES Advantage program has the discounts and services that deliver the kind of unrivaled advantages that are designed to help you improve your overall operation. Get connected with the ES Advantage today.
It's such a happy group. Wait. We're backwards.
Dun, dun, dun.
Hey, Michael. TK, good to see you. Craig, Ida, Timothy Ransom, Chris, good to see you. Stop pulling my freight, man. I'm getting ready to come out. I'm just saying. I'm gonna start fighting you soon. I don't know. Ida could probably tell me. I don't even know if I'm going back on Friday because I don't know. I don't know if we have freight on Friday, Ida. Ida. Save me. T-Bone, that you just texted me, stop it. I didn't click on it. I saw it. No. I just saw a banana.
I've tagged you in at least 3 annoying things this week.
Nope.
Too.
Haven't opened any of them. I've been avoiding that kind of crap because y'all are wrong.
But it's so fun, Charlie.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're all upbeat little like green blobs twerking and stuff.
Talk about a green blob. Super ego in their mess. Just saying.
Yeah.
Okay, it's probably a blue blob, but you know what I mean. It just seemed like
there's actually some people on the socials that are starting up a poll on how long until they go completely bankrupt.
Look, man. See, here's the thing, though. Everybody's known about this in the industry for how long?
Since 2017, when they first started.
Why is this such a big surprise? Why is this just now coming out in this manner? That's what I don't get.
Well, so they are probably the worst offender on the predatory leasing front, and that's why 60 Minutes chose them to make a focus on their program. I mean, and we could talk about how to spot the predatory leases, and super ego is one of them.
Right.
Yeah. So Did you actually watch the segment, Charlie?
Yes.
15,000 safety violations in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing, and we'll have to see what the courts say. Super Ego, according to them, they are not a trucking company, Charlie.
Right.
They're a leasing company.
Exactly.
That also happens to offer brokerage and dispatch services. Just saying. So, you know, it's a weird one.
Right.
Right. You know, everybody talks about how bad the megas are, this, that, and the other thing. At least you've got some recourse with the megas.
Oh, okay.
You know, the megas like Swift and Knight, they're based down there in Phoenix. You can actually go talk to somebody. Landstar, where are they actually based out of? I know they got a corporate office in
Jacksonville and
Florida.
somewhere else. I think.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
But again, with these people, you could go talk to somebody. You know, Charlie, if you're just totally pissed off, right? You can go to Phoenix, walk into Brett Stewart's office and say, "Hey man, we need to talk."
Right?
And he will say, "Hey man, I'm on the phone, go away." But at least he's there.
Or I'm about to be on the phone.
You know, I mean, but you can make an appointment and they'll talk to you, you know. They said that the main actual corporate for the Super Ego family of companies is in Belarus. Hi, you gonna get on a plane and go to Belarus to go talk to these people?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Mercer, you can go right in and talk to the actual owner. You know, back when Jerry first took the company back, this was right about the time I started at Swift in 2006. When Jerry Moyes took the company back. Now, you couldn't just walk into his office. You had to like make a phone call and say, "Hey, can I make an appointment and talk to Mr. Moyes?" He would talk to drivers.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. And I got the impression talking to him the few times I did get to talk to him, the only reason why he didn't have a fully open door policy was because, you know, 20,000 drivers.
Yeah. Imagine that line.
So, you know, but yeah. So what was your big takeaway on the expose, Charlie?
Nothing different than what I've already felt.
Just confirmation.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's okay. Finally, it's getting out there in the public because, you know, all of the truckers who have been screaming about it for so long didn't mean anything until, now 60 Minutes said so.
Right.
You know, we've got other people out here in this industry that are saying things like, "Oh yeah, Super Ego is great. They're a good company." Sure. Yet you and I have heard nothing. I don't know that you and I have ever heard good things. Every now and then we'll hear, "Oh, I actually got paid what I said."
Yeah. So one of the things on there for those of you that didn't watch the 60 Minutes segment on it, they actually had a recorded phone call with the dispatch in Belarus.
Right.
And the guy was like, "Yeah, I need to talk to you about this thing. You know, I spoke with the broker directly, and he sent you guys over a rate con for $1,500, and you sent me a rate con for $300. Can you see where the problem might be from my perspective?" What?
Or the other one? I'm out of hours. I'm just tired. I'm gonna lay down and relax. Oh, don't worry, we can fix that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can fix your clock.
Wow.
Which I don't know how they do that without actually getting caught with all the reporting and stuff you have to do with the ELDs.
There's got to be some magic hacksaws.
Well, so they interviewed I can't remember his name, but the current Secretary of Transportation. And I got the impression that the reason why companies like Super Ego get away with it for so long is because of staffing issues at the Department of Transportation and FMCSA. He said that they just hired 40 new guys just to look into these Chameleon Carriers. That'll be their sole purpose in life, is to go after people like Super Ego.
So Sherlock Holmes said, I used to work for that company. It's not from Belarus. It's from Serbia, Belgrade.
Belgrade. Okay.
Thank you. Look, I'm not going to lie. All those countries are the same to me. That's terrible, whatever. There's too many. Hey, Sherlock, what's your experience since you used to work for him? Feel free to share that. I would be interested in hearing that. By the way, there is a link a pin link on there for anyone who would like to get on and have a discussion about this stuff here. Hello, Narc. Oh yeah, and the link's there in case you want to pop in. But let's try to keep it on this subject just for once, because I think this is important. And look, let's not fool ourselves. Super Ego is not the only one.
No.
I mean, they're talking, they estimate probably 10 to 15, 20%.
Yeah.
Of the 700,000 trucking companies out there are in that shady realm, right? Yeah, Potent pushed him for a while too. That should just tell you everything you need to know. My bad.
Did he really?
Oh yeah, he was there. I think for like 2 minutes. Sorry, looking at. It's easy for them to do ELD. Approval process takes 2 years to go into effect. So when the ELD gets caught, they just relist it under a new branding and do it again.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of the things one of the things I thought was interesting is Super Ego's business model as a leasing company only.
Right.
So let's say that you wanted to become a small fleet owner, a carrier. So you go get your DOT number, right? MC number, all that stuff. And then you hire drivers and you send them over to Super Ego to get their truck and trailer. Everything's under your DOT number.
Right.
So they've created a buffer between them and the law by doing that.
Oh yeah, Pote was at Super Ego 3 weeks. See, I knew Narc would know.
3 weeks?
Yeah.
Wow. Is that a record for him?
I don't know that I'd put money on that. Just saying. Yeah, it's all just crazy, man. Because people talk a lot of trash about the megas, right? And
Mm-hmm.
whatever, right? Whatever. When you're the big dog, people talk about you. It's just how they are. Everybody wants to knock down the big one, right? Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's completely horribly embellished or out and out lies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that that's the case here. There's way too much smoke for there not to be fire in this one.
Yep.
And Narc said that's not a record for him technically. Good Lord.
Technically.
Matt said a buddy of his said that when they run out of hours, they'll just switch logging apps completely, ELD apps.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So Sherlock, I'm curious, did you actually make money over there or did they stiff you?
Hey now.
I'm kind of interested on that.
Right?
Because one of the things they said was that the people over there in Serbia, they actually run the dispatch and stuff. Part of their bonus schedule was based on how much they could skim off the top of the rate cones.
Right. The top guy had 33%.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Well, and there was a guy they interviewed, also, and he kind of said the quiet part out loud for a second about his own situation. Did you notice that, Charlie?
look at that beautiful hairdo.
Oh my goodness, you look like an anime character.
Meep.
So he kind of outed himself for his own situation, Charlie. If you notice,
Right.
when he said, "Yeah, they don't care. They don't care about accidents or violations or anything. They'll
Or
hire
jail
anybody."
time.
I
Or
got
jail time.
my
Yeah, it was on the 12th, I think, Ida, on Sunday,
Yeah, this last Sunday.
the 60-minute Sunday morning or whatever it is. If you got Paramount Plus, you can just go right there. It's the second segment in the show. First one's about the Pope, not my bag, whatever. All right, let's see what Sherlock's saying. They have ELD department for changing working hours and everything.
There we go.
Don't get me wrong, but we are like India.
I know a lot about Super Eco, by the way. I have 2 or 3
Feel free.
buddies that up there. So I don't know how well, Charlie, you know some of the people in chat, but you know Trip or Level Up. So
Yep.
he was there a couple. I don't quote me on the times, but I'll say it was 2 or 3 years ago. And he, of course, was part of the
Hey now.
switching the number plates in the parking lot, the Chameleon
Mhm.
stuff, and running the 24/7 deal. And when he left, he received a cease and desist because he started, burning them down as much as he could. But
Was it as powerful a cease and desist as you've gotten in the past?
yeah, probably. I mean, probably. But so for anybody that followed the Jason and them stuff, right? There was a guy there named his channel was it's still probably up. Was now I'm drawing a blank. Cooking in I think it was like cooking in the fast lane or something like that.
Right.
And anyways, he was a recruiter and the lead recruiter at the time. Now, I don't know. I assume he's still there. He lives in Texas, but he moved into running like their social media stuff. But when Jason and them went, this is how scary it was, right? Is Tim and Dave went over before Jason did. This would have been this was after the Arter Express deal. It's been like September, October of 2023, or no, 2024. It was right before they came to Swift. They left Super Ego and went to Swift. So whatever year that was, it had been 23, I think. But is Dave and Tim supposedly did the $5,000, down, but take it out of your check. And then Jason waited a couple weeks and got some referral money and came over and paid his $5,000 with referral money because they were
right.
a dirty little trick.
Man.
Yeah, right. Use Dave and Tim, but they claim, I have videos up on my Truckers Coach TV channel, which I'll put the link in the chat because I'm going to go live from there here in a little bit because my main channel's down right now for a strike. And we're gonna talk about Jason Poe. We're gonna talk about his most recent stuff, but neither here nor there. Is their whole claim was they went all over Tim and Jason went all over the YouTube saying, I don't know what you're talking about. Look, Tim, are you getting Raycons? Yeah, and they showed like Tim making like $15,000 gross in like a week. Right? So you don't know how. And then Jason was there 3 weeks. They were there roughly 5 weeks, and they were showing negative hundreds of dollars of checks, right? Like negative hundreds of dollars, owing hundred. And now Dave and Tim owed the $5,000, right, for the down payment of the truck. Jason did the thing, which they do this all is there were at the time, and I'm sure it's worse now, but at the time they said that the average new truck that they were giving selling to people for $5,000 down was turned over 5 times per year, right? So like a 2023 model truck got 5 new people in it in the year of 2023 at $5,000 a clip for starters, right? So they made 25 grand just off of people getting in the truck. And because Jason touted that he got a brand new truck, right? That they all got brand new trucks, and he slipped up and showed the mileage on his brand new truck. It had 88 or 87,000 miles, right? Like we all knew he was lying, but like he slipped up.
Well,
and
that's
showed
brand new to him.
Yeah. But then, of course, when they left, they did all the sob stories, right? We weren't really the Raycons we were getting were second. They were manipulated. And they had so many, scamming, and they did that. They went on the lockout guys or the lockout men back then, which I don't know what it's called now, but the lockout men when they were going hard and heavy on super ego. But all that stuff was true is that they would switch their logs, right? They'd switch their companies, right? I have pictures of Jason. Jason did a walk around tour of his truck, right? That was back in the day when he'd do walk arounds, and they were with Jordan originally, and at the end of it, he was with I forget, it started with H, Hollison maybe or something like that, and I forget where the other two were, but they'd all switch numbers in less than a month, right? It's crazy.
Right.
It's nuts. What's sad? I don't know if this is you guys know, you people in chat know, right? But what's really sad is everybody's known how bad they were and now it's on the forefront, and I don't know that anything will be done about it, right? Like I think they'll just, like Jeff said, is they are super ego holdings, right? They're super ego holdings. They are not super ego carrier, right? So they've done good.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I think that they're worst case, they're removed from any of the known names.
Yep.
Right. And then they'll just create and generate 1,000 more.
Well, it reminds me a little bit of the shady adult business in Portland.
Right.
Charlie, I don't know if you're aware of this, but like they would have these clubs, right? And this club would get caught with underage girls in them, and they get shut down. And then a week later, they would reopen under somebody else's name.
Right.
Same type of deal. Shady business is shady business.
And the argument was always, well, the dancers in our clubs are not paid employees of us. In fact, they have to pay us to be their contractors.
Yeah.
That's the Oregon nudie bar rules, apparently.
Yeah.
So whatever.
So yes, we are comparing super ego to sleazy adult businesses.
Right. Yes. And I don't think that that's wrong. So I'm saying Sherlock. I don't care. Sherlock Holmes 911 allegedly worked for Super Ego in Serbia. It looks like. Lots of comments through here. I wish you would get on and talk to us. I don't care if you put your face up or not. I think if you would be willing to, I think it would be easier just to have a conversation back and forth. No one here is going to get mad at you. I mean, seriously, nobody's going to yell at you or anything like that. I mean, I'd just love to hear the conversation, to have that inside scoop, if that's really what you got, man. Look, if you can speak it at all, let's do it, man. Good way to practice. I'm just saying. I mean, I'm not going to try to push you, but I just think it's easier to go back and forth with a verbal conversation, even if there is a bit of a language barrier. But if not, that's cool. By the way, Jeff Narc, he's saying she, I don't even know, is saying ask them questions if you got them. So, I mean, anybody in the crowd, if you got a question, let's hear it, because maybe we have a legitimate way to get some questions answered here from someone who's on the inside.
Yeah.
Right. Because I mean, I have no way to verify if what is being said is true by Sherlock, right? I mean, and I'm not trying to knock you, Sherlock. I don't know you from anybody, right? So I mean, yeah, I think there's a conversation to be had. I'd let anyone from Super Ego in here. Come on, if you're from Super Ego and you happen to catch this right now, reach out, come talk. Let's do something. I'm just saying, I ain't mad at nobody. I just think it's all garbage. So, Sage, yes, whenever, man. And wait, is Sage saying that Pote is currently at
Yes.
Ego?
Yes, he is.
Oh,
but
that's great.
Yeah, we can start spinning that right here. Coach is back at Ego. I wish that were true. That would be so funny.
It's not true?
No. He's. Well, I mean, I don't know. He could be. There's no. He's dumb as shit, right? Like, I mean, it just is what it is.
Hey, Narc, did you sleep last night?
I did sleep last night.
So in that time, who knows what he's doing?
That's true.
Right.
That's true, right? That's true. Look, hey, fun fact. I said this earlier. This gets a sidetrack. Super Ego, right? But I swear. I mean, I know there's more than one black truck with a black deer guard, with black aluminum rims running across the American highways
with shiny lugs.
There's an overpass. Right. This past week I was driving. There was an overpass going the opposite direction that swooped up above me. Right. Like, y'all been in downtown cities. And it was, I don't know, I'll say 2 football fields away, football field and a half. And they were stopped in traffic. And there was a black truck up there with a reefer on it. And I could see that it had blacked out rims, and I could see the deer guard. I could see white or gray lettering on the side of the truck. There was nothing on the trailer.
That would be hilarious.
But it was unlegible. And I was like, oh, are those just real dirty alloy rims, right? Regular, chrome rims that are just dirty, or they steel rims that somebody's painted. So I couldn't even tell, but I think they were tinfoil aluminum, and I would assume I was hoping it was him. It really wanted to make me get on the other way of the interstate and see, they were stopped, right? So, it was going to be stopped for a while, so I probably would have been able to manipulate my way up there and catch him. But, whatever. Not worth it.
Would have been funny. I'm just saying.
It would have been funny. But back on the Super Ego thing, right? We know somebody that Joey Cryglasses, he was most recently, him and his wife were team driving at Super Ego.
Right.
Super Solo. Like, I mean, literally they got away from it in February, and they were posting up, right, that they were grossing 4,500 and 5,000, which is not good as a team, right? Driving at 5,000 gross is not good. But
maybe if they're doing 800 miles a week.
Yeah, and that's true, because there was, just like anything else, yes, there was no miles, so yeah, we don't know the whole story. But at the end of the day, they left because they were kind of did the thing where, oh well, we really were only putting like $600 or $700 a week in the bank between the both of us, right? So that's $300 or $400 a piece, technically, air quotes, right? As a team driving situation. Now, whatever. But it's sad that we know that they're the leading. They're the ones that train most of the Chameleon Carriers. I do believe, right? In that we know of. I think they in the most recent, right? Because that's all popped up recently. I think they're the ones that everybody learned from, right? They should be held to the most accountability. But I don't know. God love, I'm not trying to knock Derek Barr and all the FMCSA and stuff, but they've known about them, and they've just not been. They've done, but I think because of the Serbia thing and that their holdings, right? I assume they have that worked out really, really good, right? Like they have that just arm's length thing worked out really well,
right? And look at all the sub companies or
Trip, again, don't hold me to this number exactly, but me and Trip were talking about the 60-minute thing on Monday.
Where the hell's Trip?
That's Level Up Trucking.
Yep, get him here.
And anyways, we were talking, and he's the one that got the cease and desist a few years ago, like in 2022, 23 from them, after he blasted them for a while and was showing paperwork and showing proof and video. And I wish that stuff was still up on the channel. And look, there's Jenny. And freaking, he said that he said at that time they had he knew of over 32 different whatever, I don't know, shell companies. 32, right? So God knows how many. I mean, if that, if they just keep we keep 30, but he told me for sure that there was a group, right, that not everybody was like doing the scam thing to doing the scam thing to freaking to see who can make the most money off the drivers, or skim. That's the word I'm looking for. Skim the most money off the drivers. But he said for sure not everybody was doing that, but everybody was skimming. But there were some guys that were like doing
magical.
Yeah, they were doing it right, like intentionally getting the biggest numbers they could.
Well, yeah, and apparently on that 60 Minutes thing, I mean, they were legitimately showing that they had this list of how. The top guy. I mean, it was a competition. Who could skim the most?
Right.
And Sherlock just said the same thing a little while ago. Where'd it go? Oh God! And apparently Sherlock said it, and it looks like the president of Serbia is involved in the whole thing as well.
Holy cow! Yeah.
So,
by the way, just want to put this out there while we're here, so that I get this out of the way right up front. Narc's being mean to me.
Oh, here we go. Oh,
Narc's
Jenny's so mad. Jenny's. We have.
Find out, Narc.
Oh,
where's
God.
Where's Terry? I'm telling everybody.
You motherfucker. Jesus Christ. Yeah,
look, she was the first F-bomb today.
I know. We're not bringing our side drama to the Charley and Jeff show, right?
You are, though.
Oh.
Otherwise, I'd be there with you.
I don't know. That depends, Narc. We just went up by 4 viewers. So,
go
about it.
Hey.
It didn't go by 4 viewers when
Kaz's
you came
dumb
on,
accent. I mean.
Wait, do you know who that Kaz is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, because another thing on the super ego trip, right, is there used to be a guy that looked like an alien that was there around the time of Jason and them. And I swear his name was Kaz. So when I saw that, I was like,
that ain't me.
Same dude.
It looks like an alien.
No. I got pictures of him. God believe that I don't delete anything. I'll pull them up. Sorry, Kaz.
You just can't ever find anything. What are you talking about?
You're good.
14,000 screenshots. Leave me alone. Going back like 4 years.
What's going on, Kaz?
Not much. I'm
living the dream.
Living the dream.
Oh God. So I'm gonna go back to Sherlock here real quick. I had a good question and it went away. Dang it. Where'd it go?
Write it down.
Right?
Not enough time to write it down.
I love that you think I can write.
I'm not a big Jason Pope fan at all. I don't talk to him. I'm not a, but
you're good.
I have a friend who was working at Super Ego at the time before Jason went there. And him and I both was at Jason's live feed when he was saying he was going there. And we both warned him not to do it. And all the things that they were doing wrong with the shady rate cons. We were watching them change the rate cons. All they would do would be they look almost like exactly the same, but you would see like little differences in the way that they were. Like there was white out on it or whatever, and then they changed the amount on it, and they would just pass that off to the driver like it's nothing,
Right.
And like, what are you, stupid? Just here, take this. We're really getting $2,500 for this load, but we're gonna give it to you for 18. Just stuff like that. And we warned Jason about this, that he was going on. Oh, I don't care. Then he gets there, and he spends 3 weeks there, and he realizes, oh wait, what they were saying was true, and now I'm gonna complain about it and go away. Like, dude, really? We could have saved you the
Well,
whole
you're lucky
problem.
that he didn't like name you specifically and say, "Well, Kaz told me to go here. He said it was awesome."
No, I didn't tell him to go there. And I didn't ever
But you know
work
what I
there.
mean? That's what that dude
right.
does.
Right, but I never worked there. I knew somebody who did work there. I knew a guy who worked at another one is M89. It's the same thing. It's a Serbian-based carrier out of Chicago, and they do the same exact thing. They cheat logs. They cheat, whatever they can to. Like he was on. My buddy was driving. He's on I-80 in Pennsylvania, and he goes through the toll right up at the front, and I'm running out of hours. He says it to him.
Right.
And wait, hold on. We'll fix that for you. Boom. You get 11 hours new drive time. Like, really? He just went through a transponder. You don't think that they're gonna know that you didn't?
Right.
But that's how they do it. Because it takes so long for FMCSA and DOT to mess around with the damn ELDs.
Yeah, I mean, until they're audited.
Right. And once they get, it takes 2 years to get the audit to go through. So once they'll just change it every 2 years. They don't care.
Yeah, it'd be like every 18 months or something, flip it, You never got to worry
they don't
about
even
it.
flip it. They don't even have to flip it. All they do is just, they take the same ELD and they just rebrand it as something else. And then they just keep on using the same thing.
So I just said, question, where are they finding drivers dumb enough to continue running for them? Well,
Chicago.
They're everywhere.
Yep.
Well, again, the one guy the main guy that they interviewed that was a driver, he was like, yeah, they don't care about accidents or jail time or nothing. That's where they get the driver.
Look, like I said, these people come over here. We have these schools that print out pieces of plastic that say you can drive a truck. And what happens is they don't have any business training behind it. They just all get in. These people come over here. They're on a stipend. They get paid to come over here and work. They can take the freight for cheaper. They can buy the cheapest truck they can that's held together with duct tape and dental floss. And they live in it. That's where they stay all the time, even though they have an address for their documents and whatever, but they live in it, and then they send half their money or more home to their home country, where $100 of our money is worth $1,000 there. And by the time their truck stops moving and they check out, they're living high on the hog when they go back home.
Yeah, but the problem is Super Ego is not. There's not a lot of foreign drivers there. Most of them are Americans that are just working there.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep, people, because they'll take anybody, right? That's what I mean. That's Joey's problem, right? Just to be, relevant from this last few months is he has such a bad driving record, and his wife she's had multiple accidents, had her CDL under 2 years, had multiple accidents. Joey's abandoned multiple trucks, had a couple accidents. They'll hire him, right? They don't care, right? And he's been at other, God, what is the term that Quick uses for him? A cosmonaut, Chicagoland cosmonaut, right? Because they just don't care.
Cobb says that he's currently with Super Ego.
Yeah, I was going to go right to that. But with Sherlock said, they're flat out. They're looking for desperate people with no experience just to drive. Ida said, so the drivers from mega carriers fire people for safety issues and can't get another job, but they could get one at Super Ego. Not only that, they could lease a truck and trailer and make $10 billion a week because they said so. And Cobb says not necessarily true. I'm currently with Super Ego. So Cobb, please share. That's a very short, vague statement, and this is your opportunity if you'd like to speak. You can get on here on the mic and the camera if you want.
I'll be honest, I don't doubt that there's money to be made at Super Ego, because if you can go in there, and so just like anywhere else, right? And I know every time we're just always steering this towards like Jason or Chuck or Todd, but these guys, they're chameleons, they're chameleon referral company jumpers, right? But they go and most people don't get the referral money, they do. But if you can go there and not get upside down right out the box with the $5,000 down, if you've got the $5,000 or somehow you get the $5,000 and that doesn't come out of your check, there's probably money to be made if you'll drive 24/7, right?
Yep.
I know. I'm reading this thing too. I do like some of the ways they do business.
Do I like some ways they do business? No, but do I like getting extra time? Yes.
Yeah.
Well, okay. And no offense, but I have a problem with you getting extra time.
Right.
Yep.
And so you have to make more money. So the only way you can make more money is by cheating the clock, which you shouldn't have to do in the first place if they were actually doing the job in the first place. So that's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, because here's the thing: once you get caught, you're done, right? So you might make. Let's just throw a number, right? And you don't have to say this. Let's say you make 100, you net, right? Not gross, net in your pocket, $150,000 this year. The minute you get caught, which they're cracking down on this right now, right? I just said that they're not going to be very successful because I shouldn't say that. It's just the way it is, right? There's too many, not enough of them, right? Kind of thing. But when you do get caught, if you do get caught or you get in an accident, you're done, right? There's no more $150,000 years, right? You'll be lucky to run them, and they will know that they have you under their thumb at that point.
You'll be lucky to not be in jail if you're in an accident and that is found out.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Here's
sorry.
the other thing is, no, you're good. I wasn't trying to cut you off either, but
no, you're good.
Here's the other thing is too, you can go to bat for that company all you want. You think they're gonna take the time to actually go to bat for you when you're in trouble? They're not gonna. We didn't do anything. We didn't know he was cheating the logs. We didn't know he was doing anything. They're gonna throw you under the bus like they're gonna do everybody else.
No, hey, cop. Look. Some people it may seem argumentative, and I don't believe that's anyone's intention is to be argumentative, but trying to reach.
I'm not trying to be. You're not out here saying stuff. I'm not trying to be argumentative.
Right.
With you. I'm just saying that's the cold facts, right? There's a crackdown on right now that's maybe more than it's been in a long time for negative stuff happening. Whatever, for the FMCSA and the DOT and stuff to be out here cracking down on stuff that's happening bad in the industry, and they're taking a hard line on it. So if they do catch you, I mean, you're done, right? And they're going to throw you under the bus because they're going to make an example out of you because that's what they're doing right now.
Hey, Bob, can I ask, and again, feel free to do whatever you want. It's not like I can verify anything, just like I can't verify anything Sherlock has said. But what are you considering good money? What's good money to you as far as what you're putting in the bank? Rough number is great versus what's the gross, because I'd be interested in what that difference is. If you could and you'd be willing to, I think that'd be interesting. I'm not asking you to put like paper up on a glass. I really am just curious, and again, I'm not trying to hem anybody up. I just would really like to know, because we've all got a different view of what good money is, right? When I was running my old Freightliner, I literally could run 600 miles in a week, put money in the bank, and my bills were paid. That's good money to me. My bills were paid. We had a little extra to do fun stuff. Literally 600 miles a week on a mileage contract at Swift, right?
With a paid for truck.
But good money to you could be, I don't know, 200 grand net in the bank.
Sherlock Holmes just put, and I know there's a language barrier, but when you just said the thing about what's good money, he just put $1,000 plus a month,
right?
And then it said, but the cut is around 20 to 30%. That can't be right? He maybe meant 10,000 a month. 1,000 a month would mean 250 a week bring home. That's not good money. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make fun of anybody, but
right.
So I mean, his new comment that he just put out there. And maybe that's why Super Ego's maybe going to be coming out of the industry, and they're going to be doing only the lease trucks. That's why they did the Sky Leasing.
Right.
So maybe with all the heat on, then they're finally gonna decide, oh, we're just gonna do the sky leasing and that's it. But I don't know. And yes, it's okay for the bull hauler to do it because the bulls can't sit for too long, otherwise become
Yeah, they have
rambunctious.
different. They have exceptions to the normal rules in bull hauling too.
Yeah, I understand what he's saying there, right? Okay, it's cool if if a large car is cracking down the road and on hour 18, with a bull trailer behind him, right? No one says anything, but yeah, that's if you want to do that, no one gives them shit because that's how their industry works. No one gave anybody crap during COVID because everybody was running 18 hours a day. No one was like, "Oh my gosh, we need to stop this!" Right? Everybody's doing it because that was the law, right?
Right.
I mean, it's a breaking the law thing, right? I mean, if I don't know, and we know they're a dirty company, right? They're taking advantage of you and everybody else, right? So I don't know.
So Sherlock's saying that that 20 to 30 is going to that broker. That or the agent that's handling the money, and correct me if I'm wrong, Sherlock, but I believe that's what they're saying. But that also means that there's still a chunk going to super ego, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now we're talking what, 60% off the rate, 50%? I mean,
this goes back to the co-brokering stuff, and the co-brokering. I want to say I'm only for co-brokering when that means that there's only one broker fee taken out and the two brokers are splitting that per their predefined contract.
Right.
Each broker shouldn't get to take a piece of the pie.
Right. Hey, and Cobb, you look, man, again, I don't think anybody's trying to attack you. It really is just a conversation. He said, as I've stated, I'm not on their side. I'm on my side. I don't care about them. I care about myself. And I get that. But I'm going to throw this out there just because it really is the way that I think and feel. If you're only thinking about yourself, what about the motoring public when you're running all those extra hours? I mean, I don't know how many extra hours a week or a day you're driving. Okay. There are weeks where I could tell you that I shouldn't and don't drive more than 40 hours in a week because it's just not safe. There's other weeks where I could have done my 70 and Rosie's 70 of actual driving because I get in these weird it's almost a manic depressive thing, right? I get super up and I get super down. I get super up, I get all kinds of energy, and then I'm like, oh, I'm tired, right? I don't know how else to explain it. So Sherlock said, Cobb said gross 350, profit margin about 40% of that. I have a friend that makes around the same. So where I'm at now, my goal is 50% is what I expect to net. That's where I want to be at all times. It's harder for a solo. It's much easier for a team to stay at a 50% ratio or slightly higher. Sherlock, Sherlock said 30% goes to the dispatcher who's booking the load, and the rest of that cut is going to the owner of the company. So on the skim, the dispatcher is getting 30% of the skim, and the rest of that skim is going to the owner. So depending on what the skim is, that dictates. Okay, I think I'm tracking now.
Yeah.
And I don't think that you two were actually arguing on the same fact. So Sherlock and Cobb. Welcome back. When was the last time you got your eyebrows threaded? Oh, nice.
God damn it! Welcome back.
I appreciate that. What? I need to get mine done.
Well,
I need just a little more separation. You know what I mean? Just I got a few that go in there and they're like, "Hey, what's up?"
Hair unibrow.
Oh, I used to be much worse. I promise you.
On the for you, Cobb. I mean, if that's the numbers, right? We'll just cut it in half, right, and say, I know you're saying 40%, whatever. We'll say you're bringing home 175, so that's really good money, right? Like that's good money for a single truck guy running, right? So I understand. I get it, right? If you're there for the short run and you're gonna, for a year or so, and you keep your nose clean, and I mean, more power to you. I'm with Charlie on that, right? You're running you're running on a razor's edge, right? And there's plenty of places that you don't have to do that, and
Right.
if something happens, right, you're on your own and you're done. But to each his own, right? I mean,
So I think
you.
looking at it from the other side for a second. If you're running a super ego truck, right, there's got to be people out there that are killing it running for them, right?
Yeah.
It's that way with any carrier, any program. You're going to have the guys that are really killing it, and then you've got the guys that are going bankrupt. There's those two polar opposites in every business out there. I do think that again, we knew before this whole 60 Minutes thing that Super Ego, Charlie and I would probably never run with them.
Right.
When they first hit the scene, I was a little curious because, boy, and it was 2017 when they really hit hard, wasn't it, Charlie?
Yeah.
And they just came out of nowhere. And all of a sudden you started seeing their trucks everywhere. That does get your attention, right? If there's that many trucks on the road. But one of the things that I have issue with was they had a whistleblower that they interviewed, and they did the whole not show his face and the weird electronic voice and all that stuff.
Right.
This guy, in a non-disclosed location in Europe.
Yeah. Right.
Right. Yeah.
But one of the things he explained was that the business model was literally to get guys to start up a DOT number.
Right.
And to lease a truck through their leasing company and use their dispatch services and their brokerages. And whatever happens to that guy with the DOT number in his trucks, they didn't give two flips about. It kind of reminds me, in my younger days, I worked for a foundry. We did aluminum can recycling. And these two guys right out of business school bought it.
Right.
And they ran it into the ground. Like, they didn't give us enough time to do the maintenance on the kilns and all that stuff. And so we were constantly having problems, but they pushed production. Safety be damned, equipment be damned. Their whole thing was to make as much money as possible in the shortest amount of time and then sell the facility. That's what they wanted to do. And Super Ego seems to have that same kind of mindset. Running into the ground. We're going to make our money. I don't care what happens.
Not our problem.
Not our problem. Right. You go out of business, that's your problem.
Yep. That's a you problem. And look, to a degree, a lot of these companies that are leasing trucks, it's like that at times.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is absolutely. We've seen it where I'm at. We've seen it in all the other megas. They're not always your friend. They're out to make their dollar.
Yeah.
And if a lot of times they're like, okay, if you make a buck, then we can make a buck, right? And that's win-win. That's ideal. With the rates the way they are right now, even on my mileage contract with the fuel surcharge and things like that, I'm grossing over $2 a mile at Swift Transportation on a mileage contract because of the fuel surcharge and because of my accessorial pay, lots of stops, things like that, right? And I run way lower miles than a normal team would run. But that's because Rosie and I choose to work 3 or 4 days a week, and that's it. No more, right? But we're still keeping over $1 a mile in net after all expenses. Pre-tax. I should throw that out there just for DJ because DJ will bust balls over the tax thing. And I get that. But we're still keeping over $1 into the bank before we, taxes are due, right? So, DJ's point was, where'd it go? I just lost it. Dang it. Oh, 170K, take out taxes, fuel, maintenance, health insurance, not much left for profit to pay yourself. I'm going to go out on the line and say that I believe Cobb is already taking that out. And well,
But he said his growth
read.
was much higher than that. What was it? He said what his gross last year was.
350.
And he runs at about a 40% margin.
Right.
So that's his taxable income.
Right.
170.
Which is still a good job. Still
Yeah, I mean,
that's not the only thing to shake a stick at.
no, DJ, you're right. People don't do math. People don't read contracts. Come on.
Yeah, true.
Let alone do math. I mean, good God. But when we sit down and try and figure these things out and we have these discussions, one of the things that I want to always try and get to is, what you think net is versus what the reality of what net is. Right? Most of the time when we're speaking about net here on this channel, in our community or things like that, we're speaking about the final taxable income after expenses, right? So net before taxes, because everybody's tax situation is different. So just pull that out of the equation. Because, Jeff could get back $12 billion because he's not got 97 kids, right?
By
And
5
me,
women.
it's just me and Rosie, and they won't let me claim any of these people that live in my house.
Right.
I got 137 dependents, but I can't claim not one. Right?
You just got to get him diagnosed with ADHD or something, Charlie, and then you can get paid to take care of him.
But yeah, so and again, I'm not trying to bust balls like DJ said. I really, just trying to establish the vernacular for our group of people. That's a good word, vernacular. Jeff, did I surprise you with that one?
Yeah.
I know I surprised Jenny.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just so that we're on the same page. Sherlock said one of the things where they got money is like when the drivers receive detention, layover, or labor for unloading. The company is either takes it all or gives the driver just a small amount. That's a common thing in a lot of places.
That's just not super ego, right? Obviously.
Yeah, Cobb agrees with that statement.
Well, even at the megas like Swift and Schneider and those guys, Charlie, if you get detention, you're only getting about half of what they're charging.
Right.
But I here's how I would justify that is that you're hauling their trailer. So the truck gets half, the trailer gets half for being hemmed up. I think if you own your own trailer, that needs to change.
And Sherlock, that's actually a very common practice. Says company has a contract with Love's, so they get a fuel discount or they get a fuel price for less, but they're not showing that to the drivers. The drivers pay full amount of the price for the diesel. My Carrier does that, and then gives us back 5 cents a gallon.
Yep.
And we know that they're getting, at times 50, 60, $1, per gallon less.
And that's where I mean, for like Cobb and hopefully Sherlock too, is you guys understand the system a little bit, right? So hey, we can go out and get is it an ES Advantage fuel card, right? Mm-hmm. Or you get whatever. I mean, NASDAQ,
whatever. Yeah, I mean,
whatever to help out on that end. But again, the people that don't know. I mean, obviously, ego's not really profiting off you not getting that. Well, they are, I guess, because they're getting the fuel discount. But I mean, it's hurting your bottom line, technically, obviously.
Well, I mean, we've said it before that my Carrier, flat out will not discuss that in the past. They are seemingly kind of working in different directions. We'll see. Am I going to hold my breath? No, I'm not dumb. I mean, it's a revenue line. They front the money, they pay the fuel bill when it's due, and if I didn't make money that week, they're not getting it from me until I make money, right? But the fuel bill still got to be paid. So there is that convenience and that sort of thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to defend it. I'm just saying that from a business standpoint, it makes perfect sense. Why not?
Yeah, well, sure.
The other thing too, Charlie, is when you're using the Condata card at a mega carrier, you never have to worry about being able to get fuel.
Right.
A lot of the better discount cards are prepaid, or they're linked to a credit or debit card,
Right.
and hit you right away. If you don't have the money, you don't have the money.
Yeah, no fuel for you.
Well, I always say that when rates took a plummet after COVID and rates were high, is that this week's loads pay next week's fuel, and that's why so many people have gone to factoring, because they can't hold out that net 30.
Mm-hmm.
Then when you got brokers that don't pay, or they take more than they're supposed to, or whatever, then that puts them in a bind, and they have to have that money.
Right.
Yep.
I mean, I understand why factoring companies are out there. I just don't like them because I don't like people touching my money, but I like to touch everybody else's money, so.
Look,
well,
go ahead.
Factoring companies are good for that cash flow type of thing, but I'm with you, Jenny. We actually calculated it out one time. And the typical factoring company takes 3 to 5% of the load.
Well, depends on whether you're recourse or non-recourse. I mean, and then you have to look at what other benefits they have. I've got a good non-recourse they don't have limits, and they don't put you in a contract, so you can leave anytime. So.
But then there's those ones that say we're non-recourse, except
and then they recourse.
But yeah, it's almost like a payday loan, though.
Right.
When you actually calculate out what the real interest rate is on that money, it's up there.
Or for those who know, we could talk about the VIG. Just saying.
The what?
The VIG.
Oh.
Right.
Look, there is high interest out there. 3% doesn't sound a lot, but if it's compounding daily, compounding will kill you. I'm just saying.
Yep.
If you're not aware of it, and I've seen companies out there. I don't know if it's legal. I don't know if it's okay or not.
There are some factoring companies, if a payment comes in, they don't try to, if it does not clearly marked who it goes to or whatever, they don't try to figure out who it is. They just put it in a general fund until somebody comes looking for it. They say, oh, well, they paid you with this check number on such and such. Oh yeah, right here it is, but it's been accruing interest in this other account until somebody goes looking for it. I mean, I had a client that was missing, I think, $18,000, and I went back through with his factoring company, and they're like, no, we didn't get it, and the people were like, we paid. Went back and forth. Well, I found out the factoring company changed banks in the middle, and the money's sitting in their old bank.
Good Lord. That doesn't make it hard at all.
No, I figured that. I was like, wait a minute.
That's Good Lord, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of things like that, Charlie. Like that direct deposit isn't actually free.
Right.
There's a reason why banks hold on to your money for 24 to 36 hours after they get the deposit, because they make the interest on that. Think about the billions of dollars in direct deposits on any given day. And if they're even getting a low interest rate for a bank at 3%, that daily rate is a lot of zeros, dude.
Sherlock, that's like running 2 sets of logs.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's that really is kind of the point of all of this is this is exactly what's happening. Sherlock said there's a lot of dispatch companies in Serbia working just for the U.S. market. 90% of them have two companies, one for regular work where they do everything they do is legal stuff, and the other one with or all the illegal stuff, and one with the clean record.
Right.
Exactly, and that's therein lies the problem, because okay, the one with the clean record, they can say, oh well, we just brokered it out to Poop Turds International.
Have you guys ever done anything on CDL 1000,
no,
and Next Trucking and HTS? So I don't understand how these people keep getting, they keep buying out other companies, I guess. But what has happened with them is CDL 1000, they owed carriers thousands. I mean, we had probably 500,000 in it, my last agency, with just that company. And then Andrew Sobko, that owns CDL 1000, and his partner bought Next Trucking. And they did the same thing with them and bankrupted them and owed carriers all this money. Then they bought HTS Logistics, which is now gone. And then they created Batch Freight, which is an LTL. So if anybody does Batch Freight, you better get out of it, because that's going to be the next one to go. Right. But I just don't understand how these people keep being able to, they have to disclose the relationship. Why isn't the FMCSA step in and stop something like that?
The oversight isn't there. I mean, they said in that interview, they don't have enough people to do any of this work.
Right.
Is it their fault? Is it our fault for not demanding it? I mean, we do have a voice.
We do demand it.
But that's the thing, you know, is are we really demanding it though? I mean, you have a very vocal minority of people who really are actually saying, hey, regulate this crap to a degree. You know, let's set the playing field even, whatever, and then let us do the thing and regulate those rules that have been there. I don't know, like the English speaking one since 1930 whatever.
Right.
Yep.
Why is it now in 2026 we're making a big deal about it? I mean, finally, great, but why did it take 100 years?
Yep.
That makes no sense. The law's been there already, but
Yep.
nobody gave two damns about it, and nobody pushed it. Nobody, you know, until it started hurting their pocket,
Yep.
right? You know, nobody. Look, I'm going to say some things and whatever. Nobody wants, you know, nobody cares about all the Mexicans that are out picking, you know, the vegetables and things like that, right? At, you know, $1 an hour, until somebody does something about it, and now your broccoli, instead of being, you know, I don't even buy groceries. Rosie does it also. I don't know. So I'm gonna say some stupid number like, you know, $5 for a head of broccoli. I don't know, a bushel of broccoli, whatever the hell you call it. It's not a bushel, but you know what I mean. And then it all of a sudden jumps to $30 for that same amount, because now we're paying legal, decent rates for that stuff. Guess what's gonna happen? We're gonna start crying, and we're gonna slide back the hill the other way.
Yep.
Oh no, don't look there. Look over there. It's all distraction.
Yeah, look, don't look over there. Wait till I'm doing over here. That you're right. That's exactly what happens.
You know, it's that shell game that, you know, walk around New York, free card money. Good luck, buddy. You ain't gonna win. You think you're gonna win? You're smart. You got sharp eyes, late eagle eyes. You done lost, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you walk away with the first time they let you win and just walk the hell away, you ain't winning.
No, right. Yep.
You know, but you know, paid the big Gino and Vito stop by for a little chat. You might have a limp after that chat, right? That's what I'm saying.
True.
You know, and look, I've heard some horrible stories out of the Illinois-based companies from other regions of the world where they're like, I mean, we had one of our guys ran a couple loads. They're like, hey, get down there, don't worry about it. Oh, and we fixed your log too. Just hurry up and get down there. And on your way back, we need you to bring the truck in for service. And but we didn't. What do you mean we didn't pay you yet? Oh, no, we're going to handle that as soon as you get in. And then he took his truck and sent him on a bus. They didn't put him on a bus and never paid him.
Yep.
3 weeks of work, never got a penny out of it, but got charged for all of it. Just saying. That was a super ego affiliated company, was my understanding. So that, you know, I don't know, man. And then you just throw in all the safety factors and all that other kind of stuff. And that's where I really start having problems is on the safety side, because, you know, I've got grandkids out here riding on school buses. I don't know if any of you saw that 60-minute thing, but there is a horrific video in there where a driver doing 70 plus miles an hour plows into a stopped school bus.
Yep.
Just because, I don't know, what the hell, you know, distracted driving, sleepy. I don't know what, but it was horrific. Luckily, I think they said there was only 2 critically injured kids in that mess. And that by itself was a miracle. But it's just, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm going to go back to what Cobb said. At the end of the day, many drivers fall short here. I would say 50% of it is they don't know how to run a truck. They don't understand fuel pricing. They don't understand how to negotiate a load. 50% of the blame should go on ego because they don't play fair and they do have some dirty practices. Yeah, you know, I would be willing to venture to say it's more than 50%.
Oh yeah. I would say that numbers, and I'm not knocking what you're saying, Cobb, but I would say that numbers closer to 85%. Honest numbers, because I mean, I can name 5 people, and given that all these people are idiots, if you ask me, right? Just in general life, they're idiots. But I know, and none of them made it. They all walked away with negative, owing money, right?
So get this, like TK said here, and it just created a scenario in my head. He said, "Yeah, I had a friend who went through that with them changing her logs, and then only paid her half of what they said she was going to get." So who's to say that they don't go, "Hey, you're on this $4,000 load, right? And you don't have enough hours to make it. So, we're going to take that load away from you. We're going to charge you for the repower fee, whatever, right? And at the end of the day, you're going to owe us money. Or we can fix your logs and you could go and you can make it, right? Only instead of paying you $4,000, they only paid you $2,500 for that load. Who are you going to cry to?
Yep.
Think about it. If you go and admit to all of what just happened, you are just as liable as they are.
Yep. Yeah, they've got you under the nail. They know it, right? That's what. So when Jason and them were left, right, that was one of the stories, and I wish I had. It doesn't matter, right? But I wish I had the audio. They all, Dave, Jason, and Tim all had a round table right after. I think they'd all pushed over to Swift, but I don't think they were actually because Jason did his normal thing where he didn't drive for the first couple of weeks. But they were trashing ego, right, and about how bad it really was, and this, that, and the other. And Tim told a story of where he was there. His first, he'd say, "Oh, we showed this $12,000 gross for our first week." It was like, that really wasn't. We all knew that was a lie, right? It's like that really wasn't a thing. That was some made up numbers, right? We never saw that. I never saw that money. And what he did say is that he had a blowout on a trailer tire, and that he could not afford the whatever it was, the $300, $400 for the trailer tire at the first call. So Ego picked it up for him, and they charged him 3 times the amount. Right? They charged him over $900, and which is why he part of the reason that he left. Now, I mean, he was getting skimmed anyway, so it wouldn't matter. But that was what sent him into a heavy downward spiral, because he said that he was running over hours when the trailer tire went. He didn't have a choice. He didn't have the money. And they said, "Hey, if you want to continue on this load and make some money, right, we'll pay for it, and we'll give you the hours to do it." So at that point, what do you do, right? Like, what does he do? I mean, he did. I don't even. I'm sure they didn't tell him they were going to charge him triple for the tire, right? He just figured, okay, they'll make sure I complete the load, right? Like you said, for $4,000, and they're going to for the trailer tire, and they'll take it off next week's invoice or next week's settlement, which
miscellaneous charge,
right? Never came.
No, there's a lot of non-foreign owned companies that have done all of these very same things.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just be honest. We're not trying to pick on, the Serbians or whomever, or whatever Slavic state. I don't even know how to say it without sounding like a racist bastard. That's not my intention. But with all of that, I mean, the U.S. people tend to get caught a little quicker.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's consequences. Let's be honest here. What are the consequences in the event that, the government's going to come down and say, yeah, Super Ego and these 172 companies under them are legally liable? How are we going to enforce any fines and penalties if that money's already in their sovereign bank accounts and they don't reside within our borders?
Right.
What do we have to do? We have no legal right. Well, I mean, look, it could be crazy Trump. Look, I ain't knocking nobody. I'm just saying we couldn't go invade them to take their bank account, whatever. Who knows? I don't put anything past anybody these days, but joking, people, don't get all up in arms. I'll put on my MAGA hat.
I would love to for people that are in the chat right now, right? Like, I'm not wishing this upon you guys by any means, but I would love to be on the fly on the wall for this at least this week for sure, right? This week, the next couple of weeks, anywhere, anywhere where there's some good enforcement on
Right.
the relevant, right? Because I would say obviously that woke everybody up, and the phone calls that the normal citizen makes that
Right.
know absolutely nothing about trucking and says, "Hey, there's a white truck here," right? The 2 weeks ago or last week before the 60 saying there's a white truck here, and it looks like there's a brown guy driving it. You need to come check it out. And the
You
FMC
just changed the name on the side.
yeah, it says, yeah, whatever, right? But now it says, hey, I know Super Ego. Oh, that's a Super Ego trailer. Because
Right.
here's the thing. We all know that there's way more Super Ego trailers connected to non-Super Ego trucks
Right.
running around the world, because that's all you freaking see is Super Ego trailers. So now the general public says, oh, there's one of them Super Ego guys, right?
Well, it's like Swift trailers, right? On non-Swift trucks.
Yep, facts.
Those
right?
are the craziest accidents we see.
Yep.
Well, I made this statement the other day. I think it was today, Charlie, during our coaching call. Super Ego is to Swift what Space Force is to the Air Force.
Right.
Super Ego took a lot of pressure off of Swift drivers.
Right.
Fact.
And Amazon.
Yep. Yeah, that big bald-headed idiot in Texas that built his channel on Swift, right? Has ventured off of them for the last few months for sure, but now is 100% not worried about Swift at all, right?
Right.
Just is what it is, which is, I guess that's a good thing. It's a good thing for some people, right? I guess it's not good if you're on the other side of it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you though, just to think, right? Just to do simple math in your head and think, and I've thought about this a lot with the Jason stuff, like over the years, is because we've talked about, because DJ put it in there, right? Is that 5 people we know that went to Super Ego a few years ago, all dropped $5,000. We don't know if they all paid the $5,000 in full, because again, it was coming out of settlements. But I'm sure they got Super Ego got their money, because they made enough money in those 5 weeks to pay $5,000 back, right? So Super Ego obviously knows to take that money quickly out of settlements, right? They don't, hey, we'll take $100 for the next 50 weeks, right? They know better than to do that with people that come in, right? We're going to take $1,000 for the next 5 weeks from you, right? This is paid off. But just imagine the amount of trucks, right? That say Super Ego buys 100 Kenworths, T680s, the baseline. That was one thing I made fun of Joey about most recently, is like, that's a steel rim T680 with, no gauges on the dash, right. no LCD or LCD screens on the dash, no radio in the dash, right? The bottom line, rubber floored, right. Most basic truck you can buy. T680, and you think that, say they get 100 of those a year in 2026, right? We know that model years don't represent the year, but whatever. Right. In January, we can assume that out of those 100 trucks, they probably flipped 50 of them, or more like probably 70 of them, 2 and 3 and 4 times at $5,000 a pop, just at the baseline throughout the year.
Right.
Like, think about just that money trade-off right there, not counting the money that they're skimming from the drivers while they're driving those trucks for those months or weeks or however long it is. Right? That's a crazy number.
Just confirming what I was saying, there's no consequence for the dispatcher or anyone from Serbia. If the driver finds out about the slicing and dicing of the rates, the confirmation, what are they going to do? They're 8,000 kilometers from, Serbia. Legally, they have no feet.
No, facts. No, exactly, Sherlock. There's nothing to be done, if it becomes a problem, they just get rid of that carrier altogether, right? Or that shell company altogether. They transfer. Obviously, I mean, we know that, right? Like, that's
and liquidate any of the U.S. based assets.
Yep. Just move that.
Hey, Charlie, roll the commercial so I can go pee.
All right, we'll be right back, y'all. Give me 50 seconds, and whatever. I'm like, here we go. You're either running your business like an owner or like an employee, and if you're stuck in that employee mindset, you're leaving money on the table. Company drivers wait for direction. Business owners create opportunities. Company drivers chase miles and just drive. Business owners chase profits and know their numbers. Want to run a real business? Start tracking your numbers. Know your cost per mile and start saying no to bad loads. Drop "I run a business" in the comments if you're done thinking like an employee. If you want to take this mindset shift further, join the Road Warrior Entrepreneurs community at www.rwedrive.com, where we have profit boosting strategies, coaching calls, and real road warriors winning together. So there's a line in that little ad reel, right, that says, if you want to take your mindset shift forward, bro, I had so much trouble with that piece. Yeah, I mean, you can see that it's cut and clipped, you know, and it's because I had all kinds of trouble making that one. It was funny, but I bet there was 50 takes where I could not say shift after mindset. Right? And even the one that's in there, pretty questionable what it is I actually said. You know, people are used to me being a marble mouth, mush face, whatever. So, you know, sometimes they get a little slack, but whatever. Oh, man. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad that 60 Minutes and the main media is finally picking up on this crap, because so many, and here's Jeff. Jeff is back.
Oh, look, better version of Jeff.
Yeah, right. Much pretty. You better watch your mouth down, Narc. She's here. She's looking at you.
We had a teenager in the bathroom.
Oh God. But yeah, so you know, with the way that it's going, and finally they're doing something about it. I mean, a lot of us in the industry have been screaming about these kinds of things for, I mean, God knows how long, right? And nobody would do anything. And now that they're doing something great, will it stick? What are the consequences? What's it going to do to the industry? What is it going to change rates? Is anything going to change? Are we going to notice anything at all?
No.
That's
that's the wild part, right? Well, I mean, it's like anything, right? Obviously, it's the more, like I said, it's the general public, right? That has to whether they can keep up with it or not is movement, right? Like you said, is Swift was always the big bad. You know, oh my gosh, there's another Swift truck, right? Just for the general motoring public. But now it's super ego. So does that help or do anything? Who knows? But
they're talking about like
puts them on the radar, right? 100% on the radar. More because no one knew, right? No one on Sunday afternoon. Nobody thought, oh, there's a super ego truck. They're very, very bad, right? They just
I did.
Well, you did, but you're not general public. I'm talking about the general motoring, the general motoring public. My neighbor, right? My neighbor knows nothing about super ego.
Right.
But now they do. They're watching minutes, right?
Look, most people don't understand anything that truck drivers do. They love us when, we used to stop and help them change their tires and give them a warm place to be when they were in accidents and they were broke down and had no heat. And, we could pull over back in the day and give them a safe space for a while. It was
uphill both ways through 6 feet of snow. We drank water out of the water hose and we lived to tell about it. We had to be home in the street. Yeah, I know. Back in the day.
But now it's all about, we can't stop and help anybody. So all they see is these jerk drivers that, won't move over for them and whatever, man, and Sherlock said, and all the people working for the U.S. side from Serbia don't use their own names or last name. Also, they're hiring non-U.S. citizens, so they are not allowing to go near the border of Mexico and Canada. There you go.
Yeah. Again, they just have them under the thumb, right? And DJ's right. Like we said this earlier. I know DJ knows we said it right. There's thousands of other companies, just super ego, out here doing. I mean, Hurricane being one of them, right? Like and there's probably. I mean, God, I don't know. Maybe Jenny. But there's probably 100 just in Chicagoland, right? Like, I mean, that's the hub of all all of it, right?
I think that'd be a small guess, to
Cobb,
be
let
honest.
me ask. I want to ask Cobb
You're
a
probably
question.
right.
Are
Probably
you
right.
a subcontractor or 1099? Or are you W-2?
Who are you asking?
A Cobb.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually a good question.
I'm
Yep.
kind of curious about that, and so
So one of the things I'll bring up real quick, Charlie, is that so any lease to own program is going to turn trucks. That's not unique to the Chameleon Carriers.
Right.
You know, the last truck that I leased from Swift, I was the third guy in that truck.
Mm-hmm.
And how many miles were on it?
Like 90,000. But so here's the thing, though. No, it was more than that. It was like 100 and something. But one of the things that how do I phrase this? A more legitimate leasing company.
Right.
So when I took possession of that truck, it had already had 3 drivers in it over its first year because, let's face it, people don't do math, like has been mentioned, right?
Or read contracts.
Or read contracts. People think, I'm going to lease a truck and I'm going to make more money. Well, maybe, maybe not. Depends on how you run it, right? So I'm the third guy in the truck. There was 3 years left on that lease contract at IEL. You know what my lease term was? 3 years.
Yep.
It was not a 4-year lease. It was
Right.
a 3-year lease because that's what was left on that truck. Now, you guys that have been at Super Ego can correct me if I'm wrong, but on those 300,000 mile trucks, is that still a 4-year lease?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Or do they take it off? Or if it is a 4-year lease, is the lease amount lower like it is with
prorated?
Is it a prorated amount? Because, you know, like Swift will take a truck with, what is it, Charlie, under 400,000 miles?
Right, MRP it.
And they'll put it on MRP, which is a used truck lease. And those leases are typically in the $400 range instead of the $600 or $700 range per month. But do they prorate it at all like the mega carriers do with their leasing companies?
Right.
That's one of the telltale signs on if it's a predatory lease or not. You get that truck and you're looking at the dash. Well, there's 150,000 miles on it. Well, that's okay. I've only got a 3-year lease on it instead of a 4-year lease. You know, are they really trying to squeeze every little piece out of you?
Yep.
Yeah. Do you still owe $205,000 on that truck that's already been run for a year and a half?
Yeah.
Because that was the original price. Just saying.
Yep.
And you know, I know we said we weren't going to mention companies, but I will mention one. England.
Oh, terrible.
So England no longer has an owner-operator program, and the reason is they got sued about the same time that Swift did.
Right.
And lost because that's what happens, right? Well,
Your factoring company's terrible too.
right. Well, I had several people that went over to England after their initial 2 years at Swift. We went to the school together, and man, they were nickel and diming those guys to kingdom come, man. That one was one of those. I got a chance to look at one of their contracts, and it was every little thing, man, every little thing. They didn't have great discounts like Swift will give you at their shops, stuff like that, for instance. So yeah, you got to look at that stuff. You know, what's the term of the lease? If it is a used truck, is that taken into account on the contract? Or are they trying to get you to pay another $205,000 for a truck that's really only worth $150,000?
Right. Sherlock, this is actually not a shocking statement. Everybody there has false names, first name and last name. Not a single chance for it to be different. The first thing when you start working for some of the LLCs, companies based in the USA, is that you need to have American first name and last name, right? So you get them on the phone, and I'm not trying to crack on people. Maybe I am. I don't know. But it's like when we get those calls from the call center, or we try to call tech support somewhere, and you get the answer that says, "Hello, my name is Jason. How can I help you today?" Yeah, you're like, bro, your name is not Jason. Let's just not start with a lie.
Yeah,
I can't work with you if you're just gonna lie to me right off the bat, and they're baffled by it every time. Just saying. Nobody believes it. So I can't trust you as a company if that's the case. I'm just saying.
Right.
You know, I mean, is it possible that a Hindi guy in India, his name is Jason? I'm sure it's possible. Is it probable?
No.
Just saying.
No.
And there's so we got another guy that says that he was successful with the Chicago companies. Again, it happens.
I know, and I know Ben. Right,
Ben. I got my first speeding ticket in my personal vehicle in 2023 and couldn't get a company job. Got with a Chicago company and ran up a bag. I'll have my authority next year. Chicago works for me.
Yeah.
I mean,
I bet you know your numbers though, don't you?
Yeah, I can promise you Ben knows his numbers.
And you probably read the contract.
Yeah.
Guessing.
You know, you're a unicorn, sir. I'm just saying.
Yes.
Yeah. I would almost guarantee not knowing, but I would say Ben's probably on top of pretty much everything, right? That he can be on top of when it comes to that stuff.
Exactly, DJ. You ain't wrong.
Yeah, right. Yes.
Ain't nobody believing that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing, right? Like it's like we said this earlier, you know, to the ACOP guy is that you know, do you, but you all know what, you know, I mean, it's not like you're running without a driver's license, you know, and driving without a driver's license and insurance down the road to go, you know, in your hometown, or you're like, there's a huge chance that, you know, anything can happen right now. And it's obviously not that same thing, right? It's not, I don't know. I don't want to say it's not as, the chances aren't as bad as that you're gonna get caught up now. Maybe now, right? As of the last few days, it might be a little more, but before the last few days, it wasn't. You know,
right.
They just like, I mean, obviously they weren't enforcing it. They weren't. I mean, super ego's been around for long enough that it should have never expanded to what it was, right? I mean,
right.
I mean, maybe they knew something, because it seems like they started right before COVID, and really in COVID, you know, and they really took advantage of the COVID thing and have continued on. So maybe they knew something we didn't before, right? This conspiracy theory of what was coming down the pipe,
right
around that time, right?
Hey, Sherlock, I wasn't picking on you. I'm just saying that, you know, we deal with it a lot. I don't know in other countries, but, you know, most of the call center stuff goes to India for us. And, you know, like DJ said, you know, they say their name is Steve Williams. And I know that's not a Serbian accent. That's definitely me trying to poke fun at Indian people. And I'm sure I'm going to get blamed for that one somehow.
You're lucky you're lucky, Charlie, that my friend Kumar moved to Texas and not Florida, because I just sent him to your door.
Nice. What do you do? Get the hell out of my 11. You cannot steal gun from my store. What?
Quick side story. So, for those of you that aren't aware, before I was a truck driver, my former life, I was trying to climb the corporate ladder at the phone company, and I started off in the call center and customer service. And my good friend Kumar was right next to me, and he was actually from Calcutta. And several times a day, I would hear his side of the conversation. It would go like this. No, sir. I am actually in Portland, Oregon, USA.
Right?
Yes, sir. I can get you a supervisor.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that sucks, right? That sucks.
I want to talk to someone in the USA.
I immigrated here in 1979.
Yeah. I just have an accent. You know, whatever. I mean, look, Kaz, that guy can't talk either. I don't know if y'all actually paid attention. Yeah. I think he was actually working really hard not to sound like himself on this.
You know?
Yeah, really? Oh, shit. That's
He's not from another country. He's from another planet with that thing. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
But I love you, man.
So every time I hear Kaz, you know what automatically comes up in my brain is the guy from This Old House. That's what I think of.
Right. You guys are. I don't have a translator in here. This sucks.
Yeah, right.
Look, I've
I
been
saw
playing this game where it's Project Entropy, right? And this is one of the things that I love about this game is like there's people speaking German, Russian, I mean, all kinds of different languages, right? They type in their language. I click the little button next to whatever they said, and it translates to English most of the time pretty well.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is so awesome. I love it. And it's fun talking trash back and forth. Just saying.
You know, I'm not the one with the accent here. You all are.
That's like me saying I'm not going to go on a diet. I'm just going to fatten up everyone around me.
There you go.
I'm from Portland, Oregon, and so we speak in a monotone. Thank you very much.
Right. And ACOP said
California, dude. I'm just saying, bruh.
Oh, that's funny. That's good. Yeah, it is what it is. We're just funning in here. I don't know. I'll be interested to see what comes of it.
I'm very interested.
I would hope, right? I would hope that that it really shines a light. Sorry for the people that are at Ego, that it really shines a light on them. And what? But I'll tell you. So one thing that we were talking about this in Discord yesterday that I found hilarious, right? And I don't know if maybe it's something that's not funny, but is that when they showed if you actually watched this 60-minute thing and didn't just listen to it, right? Like I listened to it the first time and then I watched it. I actually watched it. Is when they showed the Raycon, they left Land O'Lakes' name on there. Right now, of course,
right? Not
technically Land O'Lakes' fault, right? I mean, I guess you can't put a fault on them, but you would think they would have to know something, right? I don't know, maybe not. I guess not, probably, but I found that hilarious. That's how naive, if you ask me, that's how naive like the general public is towards the trucking thing. Because you'd be like, why didn't they black that part out? Because that's a huge company, right? And you just lock them in for the general public, and it's like, oh, Land O'Lakes Butter. Oh wait, they do business with this company. Oh, this must be one of the main shippers, right? That they use.
So they were reading off the names of the biggest contracts that Super Ego does,
right?
And Donna was just like, the United States Postal Service contracts with
right?
How did they get that contract with a safety record like that?
Yep. I was laughing. So Jenny knows there's a guy on Twitter that comes in our Discord that we've all hung out with a lot or known a lot. He lives in Chicago, funny enough, and he was one of the guys. I don't know, Jenny, you might be able to help correct me with this, but
he helped establish Amazon.
Yeah, he helped establish Amazon's like legit. He was like one of the head guys that did establish Amazon. I don't know, what, 8 years ago, 10 years ago?
10 years ago, probably.
Yeah, right. Something. I mean, like, and he said that he still has quite a few higher up contacts there, like higher up echelon. He said they were all like in crisis mode. Obviously, Monday morning, probably Sunday night, right? Because they probably work 24/7, right? They're in the office too. Emails back and forth. They were in major crisis mode, whatever that means. But I thought that was kind of funny.
I wanted to add in there that ACOB said that he's 1099 subcontract. So if you're 1099 subcontract and you're owed by a broker or a trucking company, then you can use a collections agency like myself, commercial collections agency, to collect. If it's your W-2, you need to get with the Department of Labor. And even if you're 1099, you can too as well. But they're more effective for the W-2s.
And if you ever need someone to work on your collections for you, that's what Jenny does. You can check out the website right there, www.frscollects.com. You can call her 901-832-8052 or Jennifer at frscollects.com and get a hold of her. She loves to talk. She is like the what do we call her? The customer service kiosk in the trucking.
It's the help desk kiosk in the lobby of the transportation industry.
Right. She's touched just about everything.
And I'm doing I've added a new service to my menu repertoire there of safety and compliance now.
Yep.
Look at you.
So yeah, definitely check her out. We like Jenny. Ida said maybe it will change something. Remember when they released the footage of KB Dispatch screaming at the driver? Every company immediately changed their driver culture. True enough.
Yep.
Yeah. That was something else.
Yep.
So
hello,
you know,
people in other languages. Thank you. I love you guys. I'm just saying. I don't
so
know.
Mark, you were talking about general public not knowing stuff. That's the case even with us too.
Right.
For instance, the whole thing about swapping DOT numbers. For the longest time, I made an assumption because, again, not a criminal, right?
Right.
Well, I don't think the way these people do. I just assumed that these guys were power only 1099 with multiple carriers.
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing too.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, not everybody you see changing the name on the side of the truck is doing the shadiness. Let's just
right. Sometimes it's just changing the DOT number because you go from Swift Logistics to Schneider Logistics. You know, you got two different contracts, and whoever you're hauling freight for that day, that's the DOT number that you use.
Right. Yep. No,
There's
true.
a legitimate reason for doing that, and I just assumed, again, not a criminal, but you know what I've learned since then is the whole shell game that people like Super Ego play. And you know, I was going to comment too on Cobb. He said they've never done me like this, and again, I bet that I'm wondering if companies like these Chicago companies that tend to get in the spotlight, if they get away with what you let them get away with.
Right.
That actually that's a really good. I mean that's a freaking really good point, right? Because everybody, right, will let you get away with whatever they know, what they've figured out, and so yeah, so exactly like Ben, right? Now I don't think I'm pretty sure Ben never ran for Super Ego because he didn't say that. He just said Chicagoland, right? But right, if they figure out that you know more than the average bear, then maybe they run. I mean, you can work the benefits, right? So right. Oh, I'm going here because I can work the edges, right? That I can't work at a Swift or at a night station. But I'm also not going to let them work the edges with me, right? I'm not going to, I mean, maybe they have me under the thumb because they changed my logbooks, but I'm also going to let them know that you're not going to. I know this load should pay $2,000, and you're not going to feed me. Oh, it's $400. Right, paying me $400 because that's all it paid, kind of thing. Where the other people, because that was the other thing I sort of laughed about. I mean, again, I guess it's not funny about the guy that was deep undercover that said, I'm sorry, it wasn't the guy that was deep undercover. It was the guy that said, well, I just received, a Raycon for $1,500, and then you sent me one back for whatever it was, $400 or something. It was super low. Well. I mean, he didn't really say what the outcome. I mean, he made it sound like that he got the 400, but knowing up front, that he knew that that's what that should pay, and that was $1,500. I would assume that he probably could have worked the edge and said, "Look, you're not going to pay me $400, right? You can pay me $1,200, right? We'll work where you make a little bit, skip a little bit, but you're not going to do that,
right?"
So. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, when you know what rates are paying for real.
Yeah, I've been reading recently, Charlie, that rates are skyrocketing again.
Right.
So that's good. I have a feeling that it's because of the price of fuel, though. I don't think it's organic to the market itself.
Yeah, they're having to cover that because other normal people can't do it.
I'm going to hop off. I've got a nuisance here, and I got to go let the dog out and stuff. So appreciate y'all. I'll see you next week.
Yay.
Oh no! Don't talk to me, Narc.
Jenny, golly!
He's been telling me for
bad.
You could kick her out, Narc. Watch, look. Wink. Oh my God! He kicked her out.
I'm out.
She'll be in my live feed, and after this, right, we're gonna roast Coach for a little while. After this, I'm gonna go get a piece of pie, and then we're gonna go live for a little while.
I'll pop over there afterwards.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. I mean, well, you may be subscribed, but it's on my Truckers Coach TV channel.
JM said, "I love Chicago companies. You can't make money at Mega, sir." I disagree. I wholeheartedly, flat out, unequivocally disagree with your statement.
Mm-hmm.
I have been contracted to Swift Transportation. Again, we're not a Swift channel, but that is where I'm contracted. Jeff is contracted over it at what's its
Panther.
face? Good God, Panther. You know, we got people from many different companies here, but I have absolutely made money every day that I have been a contractor.
Yep.
Just saying. I run it like a business. I read the contract. We got legal advice on my first contract. I now am to a point where I can actually give people some pretty good advice on reading contracts. I don't care what company it's from. I even built a little AI to do it, right? So don't you can't just flat out say that,
Yeah, blanket statements don't work, right? Like I get what he's saying.
Please. That's what I was trying to think of, and I couldn't think of it.
Also,
because legally, contractually, I'm required, if I go pull a load for another company, I have to cover up all of the Swift logos, numbers, and DOT number, and put it on, cover it up with the company I'm pulling freight for with their DOT number.
Yep. Ben, you know your numbers, right? I'm not trying to put you on the forefront. Ben said his NARC is correct. It's not Super Ego, Chicago Land Company. But Ben, you know your numbers, right? I already know the answer to this, so I'm not really putting him on Front Street.
Yeah.
CD and Freight Broker's in here too, by the way. I don't know if you saw him in there.
Yeah, I need to.
I don't 100% agree with what he's saying in there, but I mean, I don't. That's a little beyond my spectrum. I listen to the page of those guys.
I thought it was worth putting up there, and then I forgot. Yeah. So thank you for bringing it back. Said that my solution to our industry owner operators and freight broker agents who sign under a carrier or broker need to apply for an OO number or a BA number. Then when you look at the MC number, you see the OO number. Let me go to the rest of it. You can then see the history of the OOs, the BA and history. If they bounce around a lot, looks bad. Many carriers get in trouble with bad owner operator and broker agents. Absolutely. Makes them all look bad, right?
Yeah.
And then next solution is to get rid of flat rates. Every other mode breaks down charges. Drivers should be paid extra for after-hour pickup or deliveries. LTL freight is a la carte. Every action. I feel like that's already there, though.
That's the one I don't agree. I mean,
I kind of feel like that if you're so in a flat rate, if you're running the business properly, isn't all of that calculated into that rate?
Right. And it's your job to know whether or not
that falls on us.
You.
That falls on us as the person providing capacity, right? To figure out, okay, it's going to take this, this, and this, so this is my rate.
Oh, crap.
And that includes all of that.
Right.
So I get what you're saying, but I think that gets included if you're doing all of your numbers and all of your calculations and doing a proper job of negotiating the rate.
Right. And Ben, knowing your numbers is fundamental to running a business. Abso-freaking-lutely. Otherwise, just enjoy company jobs. And this is, we've said, if not verbatim, damn close.
Like we had a regular on the channel for a long time, Narc, that gave us the business about, you can't make any money as an owner operator. I make so much money as a company guy. And we were like, great, we're happy for you. We're not arguing.
That's what I mean. Well, you guys know, and maybe a lot of your chat does, but I mean, you listen to back, in the day of the. Well, I mean, we always say Jason Pope's name, right? But the James Best is, company bitches, right? Like that's what they would call everybody there, right? And listen, I mean, to each his own, but there's plenty of money to be made as a company guy, and if you don't want to do all that extra work, right, to be an owner operator, then what's it matter, right? That's what's always been crazy. I mean, it's the same as is ACOB. I assume ACOB, again, you said you're 1099, whatever, you answer not. Right. But I assume you know your numbers, right? And the other guy that was in here that said something about bringing home a bag, or maybe Ben. Somebody else said they were running for Ego or somewhere. Right. I know Ben for Ego and said they're making money, but that's because, again, you know how to work you're working the edges with them, right? You got the fuel cards, you got the you know how much the truck should cost, right? So if they hit you with, hey, you're going to pay me whatever, $800 a week, or I don't know, $1,200 a week, and you say, no, I'll run for you, but I'm not buying your truck for the
right.
fourth
And
time.
you're probably also willing to run the edges of the legal side of things.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
look,
and I was
I'm
going
not
to
willing
comment
to do
on that
anymore.
real quick too. I mean, we have our opinion, guys, about running the edge legally.
Right.
And we will absolutely tell you that we are not personally willing to do those things.
Right.
Facts, T-Bone.
Those of you that are willing to do those things, just know what the risks are.
Yep.
The risk is you could lose your CDL if you get caught.
I assure you, if you're a truck driver and you cause harm to one of my grandkids on the road because you're running, I will hunt you down. Make no mistake.
Mm-hmm.
That is real talk.
Yeah.
I know what you did. I will hunt you down. If they didn't get you, I will. Facts.
Yeah.
Promise. No
Yeah. So,
speculation. Not a threat.
I understand from a purely money standpoint what you're doing, but I'm not willing to do that for my money.
Right.
That's just me. So, you do you. Just we have opinions.
Look, I know maybe a bad analogy, probably, right? But it's the same as being a freaking a dope dealer, right?
Right.
Most dope dealers you see on the internet, I get it, right, or wherever, have flashy cars, good ones, right? Flashy cars and the newest Jordans. But you can also go on to Matt Cox TV or channel or somebody else's and Ian Beck and listen to the hundreds of stories or thousands of stories of all those guys that were kingpin, drug pushers at one point. And they just got caught once, right? Like that's what did the cops used to say, right? The dope guy's got to be lucky every single night, and I've only got to be lucky once, right?
Exactly.
It is what it is, right? Like I only gotta catch you speeding one time, right? Loaded down, and it's all over with, right? You can run across, and get lucky every 360 4 days a year, right? But the one day I catch you, it's done, right? It doesn't matter what your past is. It doesn't matter what you made the last month, right? It's gone. And again, because they put this on the limelight, is now these people so in front of my, obviously most people know my address, sadly, but is if you ever scan the road I live on, right? I live on the edge of town. Or the edge, and there's a huge Amazon, right, in the industrial park that they built, whatever it is, 0.3 miles from my house. They're not supposed to. There's a crossroad right there. They're not supposed to cross the Amazon because there's a weight rated bridge, right? So when they come past my house, right, and it's Amazon, there's signs everywhere, big signs, flashing signs that say no semis past this point, right? $2,500 minimum fine. It says that Avon and Plainfield cops, right, the local PD are authorized to impound your truck and trailer immediately, right?
Right.
And all this stuff. Once a week, couple times a weekend, it doesn't matter, multiple times a week, is a super ego truck and trailer past my house, right? And you can hear them because it's on a country road, right? And you can hear the truck bouncing down over the bridge. And they turn around right past my house because there's a subdivision entrance, and they always have to do a 20-point turn because they can't make the full U-turn, right? They block traffic, and people honk and people whatever, but no one ever does anything. But I can promise you now is half the time they're super ego trucks. They're super ego tagged, and they're super ego trailers, right? Come from the Amazon or going to whichever way it is, right? I'll promise you now, the people that didn't call, that honked their horn, those people will call now, right? That's the spotlight it puts on, right? It's facts. I guarantee it now, right? They'll call the local PD where before they would just flip them off and go on about their day.
Right.
Now they know. It's like, oh man, that's 100% an illegal alien in there driving, right? On top of it, not supposed to be back here.
Right.
Right.
So,
And the shadiest company in the country because 60 Minutes said so.
yep, facts.
Hey, real quick, Narc, we've got about 5 or 10 minutes left.
Yep.
You said you had a story for us.
Well, I don't remember it now. What was it in reference to?
Your channel and your content.
Oh, the Trucker Todd thing? I mean, I'm sorry, Jason Pote thing?
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. So after this, I'm going to go live on my truck for anybody, the Truckers Coach TV channel, right? It has a fair amount of subs on it, but I don't push it. But anyways, so for anybody that doesn't know, right, a couple of weeks ago, Jason made the announcement that he'd thrown his hat back or in the ring and he bought a truck. Come to find out, he's leasing a truck again, right? Not a big surprise there. For a year and a half, 10% interest, which, funny enough, if he couldn't make it at 30 for the last 4 years at 36-month, 3-year leases, how is he going to ever make it at a year and a half, right? Because that means you're going to double everything up because it's a newer truck, so it has essentially low mileage, right? Or the same mileage as all the other places because he always got a couple-year-old trucks. He never went anywhere and bought new trucks. So we're going to go into that because he took down a bunch of his community posts explaining them. So we're going to go through that. I do feel like there was a story, and now I don't remember what it was.
Well, there's a link to the channel that our buddy
thank
Mark
you very
was
much.
talking about. Yeah,
if you're not sub to it, right? If you're in my, like T-Bone, if you're in my share text group, right, you'll get a link. It won't be very long. I was waiting a couple weeks because he'd been threatening that he was going to talk about the company or talk about it, and he's obviously not, which is fine, right? So I'll do it.
Hey, and those of you who, because there's a lot of names in here I've never seen before. And
there's a lot of new people in here.
I look. We don't always get in good conversations, but we try. And it really we're audience driven as far as things. Sometimes we come in with an idea for the show. We typically don't plan out our shows. We come in and have conversations about things. So if you dug today's show, do us a favor. Thumbs up, like everybody says, subscribe, all that stuff, and come check us out on a regular basis. Ida, am I working Friday? I need you to tell me. And because I need to figure out if I'm switching terminals yet. She doesn't even know the answer.
Go ahead.
No, go. I'm done. That's
all right. Well, so Trucker, this is a Trucker Tim. He said, why do you always, I assume that's to me, talk about the guy so much? So just FYI, right? I mean, you just have to know my past. Is when I came into the game, right, into our YouTube drama community, to know some of these people is Jason. I mean, Jason, it's not the last year and a half is not representative of what he was doing for the last 4 years before that, right? 3.5, 4 years before that, right? Depending on when you call kind of the cutoff of everybody, kind of our community kind of just died altogether. But I would say there would probably be over 100 people that he literally bankrupted. And you say, oh, that's a false number. But I've talked to more than 50 people that literally had to file bankruptcy or had to move out of their house with kids and a family that he literally basically drug to a company, to Super Ego, right? He recruited, and I know his numbers are not, he lies about his numbers. But I can tell you, I believe that he probably recruited 20 to 25 people in that short 5-week window that they were doing the recruitment for Super Ego to Super Ego. And all those people went there, A, to give him referral money, but B, under the assumption that they were making $12,000 a week gross, every one of them, right? Because there was 3 of them there, and those people all were hurt. Plus, I mean, if you know the backstory, right? Him and his band of idiots, posted my house and we're gonna come murder you and that kind of stuff, right? So you get a lifelong, I'm gonna fuck with you. And Jason's always just been the guy that comes back, right? Like a lot of the people just ran off.
Amazing. He gets mad. Can't understand why. Why won't Narc leave me alone?
Yeah. Well, and Trucker Tim, not so much anymore, right? But he does have a following, right? I mean, he before he took down his big channel, I mean, he had 40,000 subs, and he carried a couple hundred people, and I'll never understand why him or Trucker Todd or many others have a following that just go where they say that every time they jump company every 45
when
days.
Pope came to Swift, right?
Yeah,
He had not pulled a load for God, I don't know how long.
Yeah.
And he was banking referrals.
Yep.
So, whatever. I mean, look, I've said it earlier, I've been at Swift since 2008. I started as a company driver. I started contracting around 2009, 2010. I don't remember when, because I'm old and I don't really care. And I've had no desire to go anywhere else. Sure, I've looked at other companies. I almost went to Mercer. And then I'm glad I didn't, because shortly after that, my neck and my back, oh my God, went really bad real fast. Poor Rosie would have been out there chaining and tarping all by herself. That would have been terrible.
Yeah. And if you knew, again, for Tim, because he said, what's his channel? Right? Like, he has a channel right now, but he hasn't posted a video since he left Hirschbach back in October, right? He's got some new posts. But if you just have to know the full past, right? Like, that's where it's hard. If you're new, right? Like, even like a Trucker Todd or whatever, if you don't know the last 2 or 3 years, then it just looks like you're picking on somebody. And by all means, I am, right? And yes, and it's, but if you knew the chaos that ensued, right? The videos of digital dashes and the videos of them, him, hanging his air quotes best friends out and cutting and leaving them holding, to do exactly that, to have to move out of their house, right? These are his closest of friends that have money. He's just a dirtbag of a person. And
or, when you happen to disagree with something maybe Todd said, and he decides to tell people that you threaten him. At first the story was that I was making threats that wanted to fight, and then it turned into I threatened to shoot him and find him in a terminal, and then it turned into Jeff and I both were going to shoot him, and the guy went to HR Swift, and Swift's HR is like, bro, you are a contractor. He is a contractor. Jeff's a contractor. Go handle your own HR. We ain't your HR.
Right.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, it's his exact quote, because I'll never forget this. He ain't afraid of two old guys with guns.
Right.
And only one of us owns guns.
This guy right here.
Yeah.
We're lost in a boating accident. But, and I mean, the guy tried to get my contract pulled. He threatened to go to legal. He threatened Swift with suing them if they didn't get rid of me.
Yeah, there's lots of stories behind right. Truck T-Bone, the dances, right? There's long stories behind lots of this. So if you don't know, it's understandable, right?
In this whole YouTube world that we're all part of, when Pote was most successful was when he was doing basically what Mother Trucker does now.
Right?
Yep.
Doing his little news program.
Yep.
He was really good at it. He was successful at it. And then he decided to try. I don't know if it was greed because of the amount of money he saw in recruiting or what, but he was actually really good at that part.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. That's why he has the following. I don't know. He can now he's a good salesman, right? Todd, as weird as he is
right.
For whatever reason, somehow Todd is literally an used car salesman, right? They're good salesmen. So, but that you have that in any genre, I guess, whatever.
I have to put Todd on 2X because he talks so slow.
Right. Look, he had never done a live show until we brought him on here.
Yep.
His very first live was on here.
Mm-hmm.
And then he put his show on the same day at the same time as we had already been doing for 2 years or a year. Whatever, man. Slimy people. Just whatever. You know, it's not about that. But you know what? We're at the end of this. We're over 2 hours. Narc, thanks for coming in here. Kaz, we're so glad with all the amazing words you said. Nobody understood a word you said. Thank you, sir. Because you know you're from outer space.
No, I'm not from outer space. You guys have the accents, and I stand by that 100%.
Translate, Narc.
Kaz, help me out for a second. Where are you
He
from?
said that we're the weird ones. That's what he said. He said we're the weird ones.
I am from Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Okay.
Massachusetts. What? That's Canada, right?
Yeah.
If that's what you want to believe.
Watch out now. There's a couple other Canadians up in here.
I
Right?
ain't scared of them either. Me and
Right,
you
right.
fight
Chino,
wherever. I
y'all
don't
have a
care.
good night. Oh yeah, that's so epic, right? Y'all have a good night, right? Chino? Okay.
Oh,
All right.
God. All right, we're out of here. Jeff, say your goodbyes. Hey, go check out Narc's channel. His link is in there. Here, I'll put it up.
You're going live here in a few minutes, Narc?
Yeah, in probably be 15, 20 minutes or so.
Okay.
Charlie would get a link for sure. So yeah, I'll send Charlie a direct link. But yeah, pretty quick.
All right, well, keep that rubber side down, guys. And remember, with no action, there is no traction. So get after it.
And keep looking after each other, y'all. There's no one out here looking after us but us. Thanks for being here. We try to be live every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Sherlock, we are on every Tuesday just about at 6 p.m. U.S. Eastern time.
Yeah, we'd love to have you,
2 hours.
man. Give perspectives on some things that we're not familiar with.
Yeah, really. I mean, we're open to having discussions, man. And we typically aren't fighting stuff. The odd is, yeah.
Yeah, the last time someone brought us a really fresh perspective like that. The dude was from what, Liverpool or something like that,
right?
He was on for a couple weeks.
All right, we'll see y'all soon. Be careful. Got to get out of here, and we'll see you over on Narc channel if you're inclined to do so.
Yeah, buddy.